Welcome to another episode of Blonde in the Kitchen. Today, my mom will be making honey cake. This is one of her best-selling cakes and most requested by family and friends. Let's begin by making the cake layers. There are two styles of layers that you can make for a honey cake. There are soft layers, which we feature in our mini honey cake video, and there are the layers that we're going to be making today. The texture of the layers that we're making today, I would say, are between something of a cookie and a cracker. To make them, we're going to mix together our eggs and sugar, and we're not going to over whip. We're just going to lightly mix the eggs and then mix in the sugar. I would make 80 to 100 layers daily for my mom's bakery, and I learned how to not overcomplicate this step right here. Many people use a double boiler for this step, but you don't have to. We like to use a pot, set it to low heat, and add in our honey and butter. You'll want to stir gradually until all of your butter is melted, and then add in your vanilla extract. Once the vanilla is mixed in, we're going to be adding baking powder. Once added to the honey butter mixture, keep mixing the baking powder until it's smooth, and you'll notice that bubbles will start to form. That's because the baking powder is doing its job and it's releasing carbon dioxide. Let this cook for about a minute. Turn down your heat completely. We're going to add in our egg and sugar mixture. Mix constantly. Do not stop mixing. Mix this non-stop for about 2 minutes. At this point, you can add in your salt because your eggs will already have been tempered and you don't need to worry about stirring constantly. Here we're going to be adding in our flour. We like to add in our flour in parts, so 1 cup at a time. The texture of this dough, when poking it or when rolling it out, has the same feel of Play-Doh, but just a little bit stickier. That's why when rolling it out, we like to keep a lot of flour on the side. When rolling out these layers, we'd much rather have a softer dough that needs more flour on the surface rather than adding more flour into the dough. Once our dough is done and we've kneaded in the last bit of flour, we're going to let our little dough baby go take a nap. Our recommended nap time is 1 hour, wrapped in plastic wrap and set in the fridge. After the dough has rested in the fridge, go ahead and split it up into 8 to 10 pieces. We've set our dough on a piece of parchment and floured it graciously, and we're going to be rolling it out very thin until we have a big enough surface for the bottom of our cake pan. When cutting around the edge of the cake pan, you'll be left with dough that you can either save to bake for crumbs or save with the rest of the extra dough to make more layers with. So once you're done rolling out your dough, you're left with poking holes into the dough. This helps keep the dough flat when baking. We like to use a pizza roller, but if you don't have that, you can also use a fork. Set your oven to 350 degrees. Depending on how thin you roll out your dough, the cooking time will vary. Ours baked for 8 minutes each. We're going to move on to making the cream, which has 4 important ingredients, and that's sour cream, condensed milk, butter, and cream cheese. First step is we're going to cream the butter. What you want is for your butter to become light and fluffy, so we're going to mix this on medium speed for 1 to 2 minutes and then add in our cream cheese and do the same thing. Once the cream cheese and the butter are combined well, we're going to add in our vanilla sugar and our powdered sugar. Mix well so that the sugar dissolves from the vanilla sugar before adding in your condensed milk. 2 to 3 minutes after mixing in your condensed milk, you'll notice that it becomes super silky and glossy and very smooth. You'll want to scrape the sides so that any butter or cream cheese that's left over gets mixed in before adding in the sour cream. The last part to making this cream is adding in the sour cream. We like to mix until well combined and then fold, scraping from bottom to top to find if any cream cheese or butter was left at the bottom of the bowl. Your cream is done. Place it in the fridge covered for at least an hour, and then we're ready to assemble our cake. And here we're going to show you what the consistency is like after it's sat in the fridge for an hour. It's time to assemble our cake. We like to use a removable bottom pan, but if you don't have that, you can use a springform pan Either one will work perfectly for making this cake. Take your layer and place it flat side, which is the bottom side, down, and place 3 ice cream scoops worth of cream onto your layer and spread it out. You'll want to repeat this step with as many layers as you have, or as many as your cake pan can fit, before placing your last layer on the top. You'll notice that we're placing this layer bottom side up. And now that the cake is assembled, go ahead and place this in your fridge overnight to let it set before crumbing the cake. Whatever extra bits of layer you had left, or if you made 2 or 3 extra, then go ahead and put them through a blender or food processor. Our cake has set overnight by this point, and we're just placing some parchment paper around our turntable. Using a spatula or butter knife, go ahead and loosen the sides up before attempting to take your cake out of the cake pan.
Yours truly, Blonde in the Kitchen.